Oh, by the way, I managed to undo the buttons, and as you can see, they are held onto the shaft by a little screw and a bolt inside the button. So that is holding on the button to the shaft, and there's a big flat rotary button like this, and it has the same kind of mechanism to hold it to the shaft. So well, in the end it turned out not to be too nasty. I didn't have to use any kind of grease or cleaning fluid to get them unstuck, so a little bit of force was all it needed. Alright, so now inside, underneath the power transformer is this, and this looks suspiciously like a very big electrolytic capacitor can, and this part, well, this is something special. According to the schematic, there's a full rectifier bridge built out of diodes, actually, not so the AC power is not rectified by help of a tube, but by a full diode rectifier bridge. And inside this can, if I'm not mistaken, is the rectifying bridge. And as you can see, there are 4 connections, so it's quite possible that this is indeed the rectifier bridge, and this electrolytic is the electrolytic mounted after the rectifying bridge to equalize the DC voltage. Okay, so what do I see? Well, I immediately see a capacitor which, well, has, well, melted or burned through. You see it here. So that's not a very good sign. It might even have been munched on by some creature. So that's a possibility too. And this blue paper cap also has seen better days, as well as this one. So yeah, there are quite a few capacitors that have suffered. This is an electrolytic one, and well, that one probably has seen better days too. But as far as burning is concerned, well, I can't see anything actually burnt inside here. I see a lot of coils, all sorts of coils and mechanisms, and I even see a few tube capacitors and you name it. So yeah, there are quite a few parts, and here is a button mechanism. As you can tell, it's quite dirty, and here is that cable mechanism, you know, leading from one of the buttons, as you can tell, all the way up into one of the coils. If I'm not mistaken, let me see. Yep, it goes to the apparently to the AM/IF coil, which is interesting. So yeah, that might be indeed a very sensitive part. So lots of resistors, and as you can tell, you know, if I do a close-up, the resistors in typically efficient German fashion are not color-coded. Well, not completely color-coded, but you can see their values printed on them. You know, like this one is an 820K. Blue is probably the tolerance. And that would make my life a little bit easier, because then I can just read out the value and then change the part if need be. So yes, a lot of capacitors have seen better days, I must say, but I don't really see anything burned yet. So okay, so what I want to do next, and that's probably the only thing, the last thing I'm going to do to this chassis for now, is measure whether the power transformer is still good or not. It's an original Grundig, as you can see. I don't know if you can see it better. No, probably not. Well, anyway, it's an original Grundig transformer. So I'm going to measure it out just to see whether it's okay. And if the power transformer is okay, well, then chances are that another part must have burned. And I wouldn't be too far off the mark if I would say that it was the electrolytic, this big electrolytic, which started to smoke. Yeah, I wouldn't be astonished that this was the part, the culprit, or the source of the smoke. Because as you all know, electrolytics are infamous for shorting out after quite a few years of being used. So let me turn over the chassis back back to its original position, let's say, and let's have a look at the power transformer.